Okay. Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kirby Manyfingers. My traditional name is Abunsapi. That was my father Frank's name, which it was passed on to me, transferred to me by the late Andy and Sinaki. I won't be long today. I just wanted to kind of tell you about some work that we're doing at Children's Services, and this is work that's been done for many years. Going back to 1995. We introduced this work, and it went on for several years, for about 15 years, but we didn't quite get where we wanted to go. But things have developed lately that things are looking up in this area. Again, I'll try to be quick. I do work for Children's Services. They brought me on to restart the work on the child welfare legislation that was previously done over the years. It's work that we didn't quite get where we wanted to go, but it was something that it was really good work on behalf of our agency and many people that sort of allowed us to be in a really good position that we're in. I think what we've heard Christine talk about this morning, and then it's always things that we have to live with is the impact of the residential school. I think 12, 13 years ago, Canada issued their apology saying this will never happen again, but they were wrong. It just moved from one thing to another. We had all these people who have gone through residential school, but once residential school phased out, it was just simply replaced by the child welfare system. And it was done intentionally. I think through residential school, you always hear about, the policy is, kill the Indian in the child, remove the child from their family. And it worked. It had devastating impacts on us. But when we thought that was over, it just moved into another system. The child welfare system, I think if you're reading the news, that there's another apology that's coming, again, it was right now. There's more kids have gone through the child welfare system, foster homes, that ever went through residential school. The numbers are just crazy. Not right now. I think we're hearing 58% of the kids in care in all of Canada are Indian kids. We represent 2% of the population. It's worse in Alberta. Not long ago, we're, quite citing some figures. 68% of kids in care were in Alberta, were our kids. That was number I was quoting a year ago. It's gotten worse. Went up to 71, we're at 73%. Things have gotten so bad. There's these announcements that have been made. In spite of that, our numbers just keep going up and up and up. And, that's we have to have control of that. We have to finish what we started, not too long ago. I think in 95, the tribe took a really big step. Up until this point, in the 70s, the child welfare system went from the residential schools, and the province started taking over. They set up this system, along with Canada, that just failed us. They started creating these agencies, delegating them. They become extensions of the province. And again, it was systems that are just set up for failure. We didn't want to be part of that. We said our children are our responsibility. They're not the provinces. So that's what the tribe said all along. So 95, Maginama was the chief. Arnold, JC, several people, Eugene, we made the pitch that, that this it wasn't the province, it was us who should be responsible. What we initially looked at was something similar to that had in the States, was a federal Indian Child Welfare Act. They go through the same fight as we did, the state and the province. With us, it's the states. With us, it's the province. But it's the same fight. So that's what we were looking at. At the time, they said, well, why don't you enact your own? That wasn't our first choice. That was something we kind of had to do. In the end, although we didn't pass the legislation that we wanted, it allowed us to put things in place that no one else had. We put a whole prevention and support system in place. Again, nobody else has it. I think the deal got a little too complicated, confused people, so it didn't go through. However, if we were to do it all over again, that we would do what we did, because in the end, we got prevention programs, support programs, and they're based on our ways. They're not white programs, they're ours. So that part of it was a success. We have the most programs anywhere in Canada. We bragged that we had the lowest numbers caseload of anywhere in Canada. So we said that this was a good thing. It was a success. And then the opiates crisis hit us. And then we can now no longer boast we have the lowest numbers. We don't. That it's hit us so hard. Things kind of came to a stall in 2011. Since then, there was a lady named Cindy Blackstock out of Ontario. So she filed this, and AFN and the Caring Society out of Alberta filed these complaints, or the suit against Canada, to the Human Rights Commission in Canada. Well, they ruled in our favor, First Nations favor. They ruled to say all the things that we've been saying all along, things that we set up. So we were just a little ahead of ourselves. So just lately, as a result of this, the Human Rights Commission started making all these rulings where Canada has had to ante up. Because they were running a broken system. There wasn't enough resources as it was set up to fail us. And so right now we're seeing, if we're watching the news, there's $40 billion worth of money that's been announced. 20 of it is for compensation, the same way that the residential students got compensated. Only for this, it'll be for child welfare. But on the news last night, they said it didn't go far enough, and it doesn't. So that part of it might be held up. The other part, the reform part, the stuff that we're working on is, there's new money coming in. We're finally seeing able to see programs that should be run the way they're supposed to be run, designed by us. So we've been doing that all along. We've been doing it for the past. So when we got things started again, we're going to, make sure that all resources are coming in. We're seeing new money, say, for capital. I think we've never seen that before. So, our children's services are probably going to be building about 4 or 5 additional buildings, are rebuilding old buildings, so that's really good news. But the big thing is our law, our family preservation code. Up until we worked to where we worked to, we had drafted our law, and everything that we did had the involvement of our elders. I think I just want to talk about them a little bit. I think Andy, Andy Blackwater, Andy was our visionary. Andy was the one that, sort of, prodded us, this is something that's our responsibility. We have to take this on. In the same way, Andy was kind of took the forefront with Kainai. this was Andy's sort of next big vision. So that's what we pursued. We put together our elders advisory group. So everything that we did, whether it's new programs, working on the family preservation, it involved our elders working group. You know, those most of it, the work was done by the ladies. You know, Rosie Day Ryder was our board member. She was, you know, she took the lead on all of this. So a lot of the work that was done, as well as our other ladies, there's Annie Bershenbone, Louise Crawford-Wolf, T. Naki, Katie Wells. You know, there was a whole number of them that really put a lot of dedication into making sure that whatever we're putting in place reflected our ways. You know, we had other people have passed, you know, late Frank, Pete, and we only have a few left from our original working group. So you know, we're hoping to keep working with them. Since then, there's been some real good developments. You know, we've from tribal government, you know, the Peacemaker program was put in place. You know, that's been working successfully for, you know, 12, 13, 14 years. But their focus was mainly, you know, the criminal stuff in the courts. But just this year, our peacemakers expanded their mandate to include civil and family matters. So in the family matters, we've partnered up between Children's Services and the peacemakers, you know, those being a lot of our knowledge keepers. So we're using our peacemakers in conjunction with their expanded mandate to work jointly on this. You know, which brings us to the next one, is why we're here today, Aitsi'poyiiksi. You know, we've been talking to Arnold and the committee, and talking about working jointly on stuff. You know, with the family preservation code, you know, it's so important. We're not trying to copy their system. That don't work. We're trying to implement our own system. So we've gone to our knowledge keepers, as well as the work that we've done from our previous elders, to make sure that our law and the people are drafting the law, that it reflects what we do. You know, like many of us in here, you know, I was very fortunate to be raised by my grandparents, you know, Gipadapuka, you know, and, you know, we don't realize it, but the child welfare stuff would be much worse, because that's how we intervene. You know, Manipuka, you know, aunts and uncles intervene. And so you know, these are our practices. You know, we adopt. In addition to that, you know, the old ladies I've mentioned, I was adopted to them too. In the white world, you have one mother. In our world, you know, Kate was my mom, Jerry continued to be my mom, and then had several adopted moms. That's normal for us. That's not how they see things. So that's what we're talking about, building our system and making sure that our knowledge keepers are guiding us. You know, I think most of the work is done. 95% of the work was done through KGA. So we're just kind of tweaking things, moving things along. This is not going to take long. This is not years and years like the other project. You know, we're looking at, you know, something within the next a year, two, a couple at the most. I'm hoping to have things back to council. So what we just kind of wanted to just sort of fill you in on what we're doing, what we're planning, and kind of give you, just make an announcement, you know, with Aitsi'poyiiksi, the committee, social development. You know, we do have resources through the project. So what we wanted to do is take this work and bring it to the next Aitsi'poyiiksi Sympoisum, and we'll host it through Children's Services. And we just want to talk about some of the our core values. And again, that's why we have our knowledge keepers involved, and just have a discussion about it, and then we could use it in the work that's being done. So yeah, we have called upon Wilton and Rose and Agnes as well as the peacemakers to continue this. Anyways, thanks for listening. That's kind of an introduction into some of the work, some of the stuff that we plan on moving forward, and this is a really good venue to talk about this stuff. So maybe ask Wilton to say a few words of.
Hoki takkaiksi. Naaksiksi mattotsipstopihpiaa. Kitkonaiksi matsimpopa. Pikania hoki siksika. Hamskaapi pikania hoki nooti tihkaanauna Kainawa. Hamknake tohtoa. Hani maatoan jopa Kainawa. Tästä saa Aitsi'poyiiksi. Aitsi'poyiiksi agitani Kainau. Aitsi'poyiiksi Kainawa. One is place, one is the people. So on amke supua piipuusin. Hogni tsikutaksi tekinohkaksistikuikkaaki. Ma hapan saapien noksauppimisi. Aitsi'poyiiksi nokka muka utaatuitsikatopaikka puukaiksi. Ahkoavattaatuitsikatsa. Aikokista toki naapikaiksi aukakitsimäiksi. Emäikamuuset jää kokoisin nooniksi. Haista pippuuta sikiksi maatetaan noin no. Hokei sapanisysteemisäkin ei tää puuteaksi. Kenniksi oikein saatsoksiksi. No kitas kuutuistikiksi. Sekin toakaan noja akukatsini. Aitsi'poyiiksi ja no kitsini kuukita. Niitä sitä piipäätä piisi. Niitä siksi äänen ohtuut sitä piipä. Hokini maa tohksen ihkaasiimipä. Haamustkei kaamuissa tomi aukakitsimäiksi naapiikoiksi. Näkei sitten koputtustyym. Siitä kuistiimi kanoudisessini tsipstopi. Mä kujaapia. Ei paatuma mi kanoudisessini. Maatuma tapaa piaat. Ei tätsini kuutsi. Miksi on mahkineeksi. Hän sokitani mä kujaapia. Ei kujaki tuutaa pissuhtik. Hän aikaisesti taatsai. Sitä pieminois kukuusin nooniksi. Kitsihkaannaan. Haakohtannesti jo. Mä tohkattamatus mä outapiisin. Mä tohkattaa pinausueksi. Vaikka poskiisin. Mä tohkatsiin muhkia ei kuusiksi. Houki. Miksi mä ahsoaiksi. Aamantapahset ja ossukuusaiksi. Mä tohkatsi tautsi piavaiksi. Spoku supi kissukuusin nooniksi. Hän nimee ei tajaksi koettaja. Ei taska piimaja. Niitä piitä, mutta pohpaista matsaa. Niitä siipuuksini. Ja muhakista noonaki päitä piisinoni. Hän nimee istuutsi. Istukanää pumikkaa piimaa sitä päitä piisini. Katumasta lapsia. No muuksikin taajohtoi. Pitää pukaiksi, sitten makkaa maaksaiksi, muuta koksista ottaa. Ja niiksä niitä pitää apsia. Ikä kiskini mä niin päitä piisini. Mä tohkaita pipiaatiksi maaksiksi. Suda mitsi tuksi aamuska akakkuma pi maaksaiksi taakaitsini kokea. Taakopaa jaaksi mukiaaksi. Mutta niitä pii akakkuma pii iskapi muksini. Ei tauttaa emo iskohtsika. Mutta muhtaknää isoksi päitä pii. Uutta piisinä iskohtak. mikistuuttai mo piskuhtik maanistipaitapi kitihkaannaaniks hanniska muuksien nohka mohtoakai piksipaikka ahkoawattaatuitikkatrsi kukuusinnaaniksi hakuhatitskihtia mohka kipaitapi sinoni niitsitapi paitapi sini hannikiakstaat stup jakstaat sai kukuusinnaaniksi kimmataap siisikiksi hoogima niitä pitsituksua niin päättäpi sinne oikein kakkaan ajaksiksi tässä tukappuakka häniksi niitä paatsoksiksi kimmataapsia no kopaatse muikaakaan mä kukat kokuunissa on niitä mi päättäpi sinne aamuskei hän nohka hipajaksi koottai hipajaksi mai kukuusinnaaniksi ihtokona pomikkaapio upaitapiissa nohmuuksi iksukaapio nohmuhotaakotuupia sikanesti tekäksi iksukaapio aumatapurtissitapioki kistonnoona nohka estrapiksi mattei naapikoeks se on mikäistä päässä ippumaapio kistonnoona mä tohkatsi soksista piupakistonaunakin päätäpi sinnaani. Iksiksistä päätäpi naapikoiksi mä tohkaikin mutsioiksi. Kistonnauna puhkana istawatsimo kimmapi pitsini. Hänniä niityssä saa istamatsuuki kaahsinnaaniksi. Hookia tsemmiitakseni. Mutta puhkana tui tsihpaamu. Kana pääsi spumittapiiksi houkiniissa äski kana omianesti piiksiksi mutta muhkana tui tsihpahki ksahkui aamuskei päästävät kukuusinnaaniksi aamukhana khaumahkina tsiohtaa no kuepstaapi itani taaxatei nissukuusiksi mä tohkattautsi pää. Hookin taaksatei piiksiksi. Haamatapi mä otat tuhtuu kioiksi. Mä otat Aitsi'poyiiksi. Niaamata paats tohpamuha niitä päitäpiisini. Kaatohtaa inihkaaskopa. Aga niitä kannistapi. Onkin niitä siitsitapiikoon. Niitä pitäpi. Mukaan naapi posnaakan jo the real people. Mä naapikoon naakitan sitä onkin mä tästä piakin naapikoon. Onkin uumussiksi naapikoon. Uumaapa tampitsinnim. Uumikkaksi naapikoon. Uumumaksi kaapikoon. Saa paitapia, ihtain ihkatää maannistinaapia. Kistonnonakin tän jo niitä siitsitapi. I'm a real person, ennen nohka. Mä tahtsin ihkaiskopa niitä sinoppi. Hännekin nohkan sitä päin. Mä taksi Sympoispa, niin kaamata pohtiipi muukuassa kaamata pohtakui. Kaamata pohtakui. Aahnakaan itse tahtaapia, ei suojuupi. Että saa kuukuanen jo. Kikas tsuukin. Henneekin nohkan sitä paikahki minua. Niksuukoak. Aitsi'poyiiksi. Koukääkin mutsiik. Bin sakitsik bin itsesoiso putsika kipaitapi soa niitä apskona tapi niitä tapi paitapi. Han